Did you have a nice Christmas and New Year's?
I did.
Good. Do your family live here?
No, they all live in Florida. But I was able to go home for a little bit and then.
Yep. Good morning. Welcome home to Live Oak Unitarian Universalist Church. My name is Margie Taylor, and I'm so glad you're here. For our guest, I'd like to invite you to subscribe to the Live Oak weekly newsletter. It's the go-to place to know everything that is happening here. There's a link on our homepage. Thanks to all for your continued care in following the current guidelines for in-person service so we can provide as safe an environment as possible during what remains a challenging time. When weather permits, we will have our worship service outdoors and live streamed. Masking is mandatory for everyone over the age of 2. On days with inclement weather, the service will only be offered via live stream in order to protect our worship volunteers and staff. I am pleased to welcome back to our pulpit Reverend Jami Yandle. Reverend Yandle, they, them, is a non-binary, board-certified hospice chaplain serving in Austin, Texas. Jami is a graduate of Union Theological Seminary and was ordained by the First Unitarian Church of Toledo in 2018. They initiated and facilitated the revision of the Unitarian Universalist Second Source to honor words and deeds of prophetic people rather than prophetic women and prophetic men. Additionally, Jami is the newest board member on the Texas Unitarian Universalist Justice Ministry, TXUUJM, and is looking forward to helping lead social justice actions throughout Texas in 2022. Jami enjoys creating and facilitating workshops and retreats related to chaplaincy, mental health, and trauma response at regional, institutional, religious, spiritual, and educational sectors across the United States within the UUA. And now, here and at home, let us light our chalices. We gather together at the start of the new year, woven together in our love for this community, with our hopes and dreams and prayers for the year before us, with our hearts and minds and spirits ready to be touched by the year before us. With our hands and time and talents ready to be offered in the year before us, we gather together at the start of this new year with gratitude and love for those who have come before us, for those who stand here with us. May it be a good year. May it be a sweet year. Come, let us worship together. Our opening hymn is Blue Boat Home.
Good morning. I'm the Reverend Jami Yandle, and today is a precious gift. Let us rejoice and be glad in it. Whoever you are, whomever you love, and wherever you are on life's journey, you are welcome here. I want to take a moment to extend a very special welcome to everyone who's visiting with us. Rather than gathering because we all have the same beliefs, we are an intentional community gathered around our shared promise to support each other's individual spiritual journeys. We're also intentional about bringing all ages together. In today's world, that often doesn't happen, but we think it's important to have an adult friend ask a child or youth how they did on that science test they were worried about, and a 30-year-old and a 70-year-old chat about life as they're hanging out after the service or working on a project together. During COVID times, these interactions still happen, but sometimes they're online, like this morning, through email or through the phone. Though we do not require everyone to share the same beliefs, you'll still find that many of us have a lot of values in common. We believe in science, reason, the equality of all, and the need for equity. We know that Black Lives Matter. We value reproductive justice, and we celebrate the LGBTQIA+ community. We work to make love the doctrine of our lives and to put in action through service in this church and in the world. May we celebrate the promises and possibilities of this day together.
Prayers of the people. Every week when we gather, we share pieces of our lives with each other. We share our sorrows so that we may offer comfort to one another. Please share in the chat box any sorrows you are carrying today. And we share our joys so that we may celebrate together. Please share in the chat box the joys you are carrying today. In this religious community, we hold with reverence the knowledge that each week, a multitude of different emotions and experiences are brought together into this space. One of us may be celebrating, one weeping, one filled with determination, one with despair. This mosaic of experiences is holy, and we honor all with our witness.
There once was a young boy named Theodore. He was walking home from school one day and found some of his friends playing by the creek. He noticed his friends were pestering turtles who were laying out sunning. His friends were hitting the turtle shells for seemingly no reason, out of boredom perhaps, looking for a reaction maybe. These defenseless turtles were just trying to live their life. They urged Theodore to join in. He thought about it and started to join in with his buddies. But then something changed. He looked at the turtles, who were not a threat to anyone. They were peaceful, relaxed, just trying to enjoy the sun as he and his friends were. So he then decided against joining in. He went home and explained what happened to his mother, who had been waiting on him. "Theodore," she said, "that force inside you was the voice of conscience. Always pay attention to it. Always follow what your conscience tells you. It's your moral compass that points you in the right direction. And if you honor your conscience, you'll never go wrong in this world." Theodore Parker grew up to become a Unitarian Universalist minister, Well, actually, he was a Unitarian minister. This was before the merger. In fact, one of the greatest leaders of our faith has ever known. He became a champion of the defenseless who needed defending. He was a hero in the fight to end slavery in our country, and he fought for women's equality and their right to vote. He and his wife never had children of their own, but he felt a sense of kinship with the whole family of creation, people of all sexes, genders, and races who have been made in the image of the holy. And it all started one summer day when he was just a child who saw a turtle and decided to do what was right. So the last time I was with you, I noted I had recently moved to Austin and had tried queso, the Texas style queso. And I don't want to use guest preaching as an excuse to talk about food every time, but I just needed to let you know that one of my New Year's resolutions is to try more ice cream. And so I finally made my way to Bluebell, and then I found this flavor called butter pecan, and now I feel like I cannot leave Texas because I'm addicted. And so this week marks the new year. Some of us have resolutions and some of us don't. And later in the week, on January 6th, many people throughout the world will celebrate Epiphany. While the Western celebration of Epiphany comes from the Greek word meaning revelation from above, traditionally in the East, it's called theophany, which means revelation of God is observed. However, many people do not share strictly Christian or theistic beliefs and celebrate Epiphany in a reflective sort of way, because as Theodore Parker and the story you guys call it the big idea. I'm sorry, I've been doing a lot of pulpit supply lately, so I'm getting my words mixed up. So as Theodore Parker explained in his autobiography in the story, from the big idea, the Epiphany speaks to us of conscience and how we recognize and follow goodness and truth. In The Matrix, the main character, Neo, has offered the choice between the red pill and the blue pill by a leader named Morpheus. Morpheus said, you take the blue pill, the story ends, you wake up in your bed, and you believe whatever you want to believe. You take the red pill, you stay in Wonderland, and I show you how deep the rabbit hole goes. The red pill represents an uncertain future. Unbeknownst to Neo at the time, he takes the red pill, which would free him from the control of the machine-generated capitalistic dream world and allow him to escape into the real world. But the exchange is that the truth of reality is harsher and more difficult. On the other hand, the blue pill represents a beautiful prison. It would lead him back to ignorance, living in confined comfort without fear or want, the simulated world of the Matrix. Neo chooses the red pill and joins the rebellion. Like Neo from the Matrix, we were pulled out of a reality we believed and hoped for in 2022, back into this reality. Many UUs decided to take the red pill, but it seemed like we were surrounded by people who preferred to keep taking the blue pill. So let's say we collectively chose to take the red pill, which opened our eyes to the evil machines around us: systematic racism, classism, homophobia, transphobia, ableism, housing insecurity, and all other injustices. In the story of the Epiphany from the Bible, the star guided the wise men to where Jesus had been born, and Jesus' birth marks the moment when God became flesh. As UUs, we have our own wisdom and the power of fire too. Our flaming chalice includes the symbolism of light of reason, the warmth of community, and the flame of hope. Our chalice reminds us of the path where we go when the road is not always clear. We do this work in community because it is the only way we will live to see the better world we know is possible with one another and in the full incarnation of Unitarian Universalism, which is the holy and sacred work of our congregations. Congregations are where we will fulfill our mission and how our literal numbers can and have created big and small impacts on social justice of all kind. We woke up in the realities of centuries of systematic oppression around us, but we also realized that we are not alone in our work. We have our communities and our congregations to sustain us in these daunting times. Humanity is literally wired for connection. We knew we needed each other to survive, but how do we keep showing up for people? I was chatting with a friend recently, and she told me how she was unable to meet with her extended family over the holidays due to a disagreement about testing for COVID. She and her immediate family requested testing for everyone before gathering, and they even bought the test for everybody. Her extended family chose to gather together instead and forego the testing, disagreeing that it was even necessary. And so she and her immediate family gathered together instead. They all tested negative and spent Christmas together. She noted that although she was sad to miss her extended family, her conscience was clear. She felt she did the right thing to protect herself and further her clients and the loved ones in her house and community. That truth, her truth, helped her rest easy in this anxiety. It is so easy to begrudgingly receive emails or read new CDC regulations that elicit our PTSD. It seems all too familiar. Here we go again. Off to the unknown with a billion of questions of how we continue to live our lives in this new normal. However, we are different this time around. We have leaned into our chalice star. We have remained in community through Zoom, Facebook, and this morning YouTube unites us. We have perhaps learned the value of humanity and all interactions therein. Maybe we are just a little slower and thankful and grateful too. The work of 2022 might feel insurmountable, but we can lean into each other and the strength we have found within ourselves last year to keep going. Many people quit their job search for freedom and liberation, noting that our humanity is worth more than the backbreaking work for minimum wage. We started to demand living wages and better working conditions. We are different, we are better this year. We know how and when to pause and take a break to breathe. We are learning how to ask for what we need from one another. We remind each other that we can get through this, and perhaps most importantly, you don't have to have it all figured out right now. Reverend Joanna Crawford recently said, "Take a look at your to-do list and cross off 2 things. They aren't going to get done today, just move on." It's this type of red pill knowledge thinking that will get us through this next year. Neo did not have one epiphany, he had many. And it took him a long time after he took the pill to get it and to understand his power. And for the record, I'm speaking about the old school matrix, not the new resurrections. If you want to hear about that, you need to invite me back for another pulpit supply. So not even the oracle made sense to Neo. He had to jump. And it is okay if you regret taking the red pill or you chose not to take the pill at all. Your reality is what you decide it is. And it is embedded in mine. Whatever you choose, our reality as you use is to remember who we are and why we are here in this community and what we are trying to build. Believe in our chalice star. If you are out of inspiration or you have lost your way, look within or to someone else in our faith to find your way back home to us. The chalice star, it will always be here for you, working towards a future that year by year recedes before us. So the meditation this morning is words by Desmond Tutu. May he rest in peace and power. Discovering more joy does not, I'm sorry to say, save us from the inevitability of hardship and heartbreak. In fact, we may cry more easily, but we will laugh more easily too. Perhaps we are joy. We can face suffering in a way that ennobles rather than embitters. We have hardship without becoming hard. We have heartbreak without being broken. And our closing hymn is Everything is Holy Now.
When I was a boy each week, Sunday we would go to church, pay attention to the priest. He would read the holy word, consecrate the holy bread, and everyone would kneel and bow to take the only difference is everything is holy now. Everything is holy now. When I was in Sunday school, we would learn about the time Moses split the sea in two. Jesus made the water wine. I remember feeling sad. Miracles don't happen still. Oh, but now I can't keep track. Everything's a miracle. Everything's a miracle. Wine from water is not so small, but an even better magic trick is anything in here at all. So the challenging thing becomes not to look for miracles, but find where there isn't even one. When holy water was rare at best, barely went my fingertips. Now I have to hold my breath, cause I'm swimming in the sea of it. Used to be a world half there, heaven second rate handed down. Walking with the reverend head, everything is holy now. Everything is holy now. Read a questioning child's face, say it's not a testament, that would be a very hard thing to say. See another new morning come, say it's not a sacrament, I'll tell you that it can't be done. This morning outside I stood, saw a little red-winged bird, shining like a burning bush, singing like a scripture verse. Made me want to bow my head. I remember when church let out, and how things have changed since then. Everything is holy now. It used to be a word out there, heaven secondary hand me down. Walking with the reverend day. Everything is holy now. Everything. Everything is holy now.
Good morning, I'm Carrie Krause, the Director of Lifespan Faith Development here at Live Oak, and I just wanted to give you a couple of updates. Obviously, we're not having faith development today. On Sundays when we're meeting virtually, there will be some adult programs available on certain Sundays, so please be sure to check the What's Happening page to see which Sundays we're offering those over Zoom. There'll be a link there. And also, for those of you with 8th and 9th graders, if you haven't received an email from me regarding the Our Whole Lives, the OWL programming, I sent that out this morning. I may have missed you if you're new to the church, so please send me an email at dlfd@liveoakuu.org if you're interested in enrolling your 8th or 9th grader in OWL this spring. Thank you.
we go, let's remember that every week we engage in the spiritual practice of generosity, combining our resources to support the ministries of this church. Part of our mission is to empower dreams, and this Sunday we will be sharing our offering with Hill Country Community Ministries to help empower their dreams of offering fresh food for all. We invite you to go to liveoakuu.org and click on Donate.
Our benediction is words by Reverend James Morrison. Within each of our hearts, there is a most glorious light. Go forth and let its spark help you understand what troubles both you and others. Go forth and let its light of reason be a guide in your decisions. Go forth and bring its ray of hope to those in need of help in both body and spirit, that they might find healing. Go forth and fan the flames of passion to help heal our world. Go forth and spread the warm glow of love, pushing back the darkness of the world. Go forth and share your glorious light with the world.
Going to
chalice extinguishing. We extinguish this flame, but we recommit anew to carrying into our week the flame of justice and love. May we share with others the courage and strength we find here.
Sorry, Rebecca, I thought you nodded at me as our solution.
I've done that mistake myself. It's very,
Anyway, without a script, it's hard to
Yeah.
remember everything.